Well, I completed Netflix, Hulu, Max, and Prime. Work's been slow, so I've had some time. And rather than being productive, I hit the couch. Of this I can't say that I'm exactly proud. And is it me or is my wife's voice getting loud? When she asked, baby, what you got on your agenda today? I was walking a thin line, then walking it back, trying to keep her happy, cause you gotta please your better half. That league, it is important, but Beth and Rip are at Dutton Ranch. Walking a thin line, then walking it back. I put down the remote, turned and saw my reflection. Had a strange look as I pondered the question, trying to decide on what series I might want to binge. I said maybe Game of Thrones Season 1, and I just watched Maverick, so maybe Top Gun. But by the look in her eyes, I don't think that's exactly what she meant. Knowing I had to change my reply, I said, no, I'm just kidding. I'll be watching Queer Eye and Pioneer Woman and The Bacon Show with that guy, Jesse. Thinking I'd just switched 3 from the line, she said to me in her lower tone voice, oh, that's just fine. And in that moment I realized I had been working on digging a hole. I was walking a thin line, then walking it back, trying to keep her happy, cause you gotta please your better half. That league, it is important, but Beth and Rip are at Dutton Ranch. Walking a thin line, then walking it back. Well, at this point, needing the subject to change, call it divine intervention or just torrential rain, we both heard a pop, pull and smash in our backyard. We walked outside and it was plain to see a big limb had fallen out of a tree, landed on the gutter and pulled it right off the house. I knew now Roadhouse had to wait, no peaky blinders or pondering goose's fate. So I jumped out of that box and into my tool belt. I was walking a thin line, then walking it back, trying to keep her happy, cause you gotta please your better half. That league, it is important, but Beth and Rip are at Dutton Ranch. Walking a thin line, then walking it back. Now the damage was about 32 feet high, the ladder 28, so close but just shy. So I strapped and drilled that sucker back on, standing on my tippy toes. As I climbed down, I was sure happy to see my beautiful wife in a cold glass of sweet tea. She gave a meek kiss and said she sure was proud of me. Now folks, if you've lived long enough, then you already know, the second you start thinking everything's under control, life will sneak up behind you and knock you on your cane. And it's usually right about the time you're feeling like the man. Now there were only 3 things left to do: secure the ladder, put up my tools, then ask my awesome wife, what's next on the list? So I lowered the ladder, grasped it with pride, tilted it over to get it on its side. Then in a flash, it was in pieces on the grass. Still holding on when the ladder hit the ground. Just before impact, I heard another popping sound, but this time it was right in the small of my back. The pain was intense, sweat dripping from my brow, stuck in a permanent Japanese ball, praying, please, Lord, just let me get to my comfortable couch. Well, 45 feet and 45 minutes later, I made it inside to the medicine container and proceeded to eat ibuprofen like they were M&Ms. After rubbing on some lotion labeled CBD, I hobbled to the couch rather awkwardly and finally found a position that only kinda hurt. Well, My wife came down, her hair sexy wet, wearing a silky nightgown. She commented, "Oh, I see you're back on the couch." I said, "Baby, look, wait, step back, hold on," and filled her in with what had been going on. She said, "Oh no, that's awful. What can I do to help?" I said, "I'm thinking grilled pork chops, or maybe your beef stew. And I'm gonna need to chill here on the couch for at least a day, maybe two. And if it's not too much trouble, turn on Game of Thrones Season 1. I was walking a thin line, then walking back, trying to keep her happy, 'cause you gotta please your better half. Well, that leak, it is important, but Beth and Rip are at Dutton Ranch, walking a thin line, then walking it back. "Baby, you're the best." Well, almost. She nixed me on Game of Thrones, but hey, we did catch the latest episode at Dutton Ranch. Rip, dude, watch out for that Rob Will. I think he wants Beth and you dead, bro. Watch your back.